some seeds, 'cause the world needs more snitching and more motherfuckers like me.
Tonight is Real Talk with your host, Morris Derry.
Hey there, everybody. This is Jack Tierney. I'm here interviewing Morris Derry, and I got a few questions for him. And I thought first we'd go back a little bit. I was going to ask, how did you get involved with all of this and get the motivation to start No More Pain?
All right, so No More Pain. No More Pain Incorporated was a vision of mine in 1996 while I was incarcerated. I was going through a bad period of my life at the time. Ended up in jail. I was incarcerated. A lot of people who were getting out of jail kept coming back to jail, so I'd write down, all right, they came back because they didn't have a job, so I write down I needed a job. They didn't finish or school. They got to finish school. So I created this mentorship program in 1996 that was supposed to help me out for when I got out of jail, when I was expected to get out of jail in 2000. But every part of No More Pain started way before it became a vision of mine. So I have different chapters to No More Pain. We have domestic violence, we have substance abuse, we have cancer, and we have the homeless awareness. Every part of it, somehow my life was affected by. So, for example, homelessness. Like we was growing up, I grew up in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, Langhorne Borough. Living with my grandmom, you would still think that we lived back when there was no electricity, no bathroom, no running water, and we did. We had no electricity, no running water. We heated our house with a coal stove. We had to use the bathroom that was in a bucket, and my grandma would take the bucket out back to this old outhouse that we used to have. And this is in Langhorne Borough. So as a kid in elementary school, and I would go to my friend's house and then see their house. I'm like, well,
Wow.
damn, I don't live like this, So it took my mind, being a young kid, and then to understand it and notice the difference takes a lot, There's a period when me, my mom, my brother and sister lived in a one-bedroom motel out in Marsville. It was called the Country House Motel, and we lived there for a long time. So being homeless, I've experienced. I lived it. Not having things, being a family in need, our family experienced it. It took my grandmom's house that we didn't have no electricity and to burn down for it to rebuild, and from the rebuild to us to have that modern day house. And I was 8, 9, 10 years old when this happened. So it's always been a part of my life. Domestic violence. I see my mom and my sisters go through it most of my childhood life, and I felt like I couldn't do nothing about it, or I was scared to do something about it, being a kid. So that's why domestic violence is huge to me. We do a lot of things with domestic violence. Cancer is important to me because it runs in my family. So I think every single person in my family who has died from a cancer. So spreading awareness about cancer, that's another important thing to me. Substance abuse. Substance abuse is huge to me. I'm definitely going to break that down later on in different shows, but I dealt with it in my life. I went to rehab. I sold drugs before. I'd done drugs before. So when I speak about substance abuse, I know kind of both sides of that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it gives me myself a better understanding of what I'm dealing with when I deal with things when it comes to substance abuse. So that's why substance abuse is also big. So I did the cancer, we did domestic violence, substance abuse, homelessness. So all that is a part of my life. Again, whether I lived it or I knew somebody lived it, whatever. So it makes it more real for me to give people my perspective or my opinion on things because I actually lived it.
Yeah.
So that's how No More Pain. That's why No More Pain has these different chapters because I experienced. But No More Pain itself was a vision of mine in 1996. It was definitely at first to give back. It was definitely at first to help myself when I got out of jail, to stay out of jail. I actually worked my own program when I got out of jail, so I know that my program would work. So it's a mentorship program.
Yeah.
So No More Pain is basically a mentorship program that assists at-risk adults who are going through, whatever it may be, whatever struggles or battles they're going through. So that's how the name No More Pain. Trivia. Then I was a big Tupac fan.
Oh yeah.
Right, and when Tupac died, I was in jail. It was 1996, and one of the songs that came on the radio or whatever we had in there was called No More Pain. And I remember writing it down. I was like, that's the name of our organization. I write poetry, so a lot of my poetry is inspired by Tupac. So I'm definitely a diehard Tupac fan, so I had to throw him in the mix. And a lot of the things that I do deal with, he had spoken about. People look at Tupac as the thug that he was, or the troublemaker he was. But if you look at his writings and his words, he really was somebody very inspiring.
Yeah.
So.
Awesome. And I have a few more questions. I said, what are the main goals, do you think, of No More Pain? Like, when you started everything, what was your vision that you wanted, like a perfect world, if it all went right?
Well, my mission statement is, I know my mission statement. Our mission statement is to have a positive outlook on those we may help. So it's our mission to have a better understanding of those we may help. So my goal with this has always been to change lives, to inspire other people to get involved in the things that matter. I'm not perfect. I'm definitely not perfect. I make the same mistakes that people make everyday life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can't keep a relationship. Things like that. I've been in bad situations. I kept myself clean from drugs and all that, but I've been in bad situations, got myself in trouble. So I make mistakes just like everybody else. But I care about what I see. I care about what people are going through because, like I said in the beginning, I've been there. So when I'm out in Kensington or I'm out in Bucks County and I'm talking about addiction, homelessness, domestic violence, or even cancer, I'm speaking because I really know what I'm talking about in a sense. I don't know all the answers or all the solutions, but so my goal when I started No More Pain was to inspire. You know what? When I got out of jail, I Googled my name and all this bad stuff came up. Like a lot of bad stuff came up, right? And I remember saying, I'm going to change that. You know what I mean? At the time, I didn't have my daughter at the time. I didn't really have nothing to change it for. But for myself, I was like, nah, this can't be what I'm about, who I'm about. So I set out to try to make a difference and changing my own past, but taking my past and using it to hopefully inspire and better other people. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So.
Yeah, and you talked about Kensington, and I know you did an overnight there. Like, what was that, like a few days ago?
Yeah, that was the most scariest,
how was
humbling night of my life. So I made a video about it. I went live, and first of all, I went live, and I thought some guy was overdosing as I'm live. He just passed out, I guess, but whatever. But where I stayed, it was this abandoned building over by Lehigh and Emerald and Lehigh. And about 10 people there. I don't know, I think it was 5 women, 5 men, or whatever ratio was, doesn't matter. But active users. And first hour I was there was just more of us all talking. They know me, so it was just more talking. I bought them all coffee or something like that. And then they all kind of went off to go do their thing, get high.
Yeah.
And I'm left in this room that I'm sitting on a crate, the candle light, not a candle flickering off the wall. And you see your own reflection. I'm sitting there and I swear when I even made the post, I swear I felt like I was literally sitting in hell.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there, needles all over the floor. And I just sat there this must be what hell's like or something, because that's what it was. And then I didn't really, you gotta be careful what I post, what I do, because a lot of things will set off triggers to active users. Yeah. So when I make videos or something like that, I gotta be careful because I don't want nobody to be a trigger. But and the same thing with words, like I say, it's like a zombies down here, and I don't really mean that per se as they zombies because they're human beings, but that's what it really looks like. So when I was like walking, I went to go smoke a cigarette, and I didn't put this in my post. I went to go smoke a cigarette, and if you ever watch those movies, zombies, and you know how they're like just standing there, that's what it was like walking out the door.
Yeah.
Like these people just standing, or somebody over there nodding off, just like that's what it looked like going outside just for me to go smoke a cigarette. And I stayed there till like, I think the sun came up like 5:45, and I was gone because what I mean. It's just I did my mission. I did what I wanted to do. I accomplished what I wanted to do. Hopefully, but my main goals when I go down there is hopefully that people will somehow say, hey, I need help.
Yeah.
And then I can try to find them the resources to get them help. But that's another something we'll talk about, too. Like finding people help. Some people might want help, and then they don't have insurance, or they have the wrong insurance, or there's no beds, or there's, and then I got to turn around and be like, I don't think I can help you.
Yeah.
So it's tough. So those things will definitely be in our, we'll talk about.
Absolutely, yeah.
More.
And I was gonna ask, what are some of the things that you and the people in your organization do to achieve all the goals that you had set? Like, obviously, the overnights in Kensington would be an example of that. Like, what are some things
different
like
events and things that we do?
Yeah, like I've gone out with you like in Philadelphia as
Homie
you were
clause.
homie clause, yeah, and we
homie
went
clause.
out and we gave like bags of necessary equipment to just homeless people, like toothpaste, blankets, stuff like that. And that was a pretty crazy experience to just see all those people that have been so screwed up for a long time just out in the street.
I think that year we gave out 150 bags.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So with that is like we do a lot of different things in the community. That's what basically you're asking is what we do in the community. So 3 nights a week we do the pizzas from Brothers Pizza.
Mm-hmm. Love Brothers Pizza.
Yeah, we do that 3 nights a week. 2 nights are in Philly, 1 night's in Bucks County. I have volunteers who I have a guy who does Thursday nights for me. He does Bucks County. So we try to cover, a lot of the areas out there. So when it comes to that, and then so that's more for our homeless. So each part of No More Pain, and like I said, the chapter's homeless, so we do different things for. So the homeless, we have the homie clause, went with the homie clause, the pizzas, 3 nights a week, and then all through the year we collect donations and give them out. So the toiletry bags that you mentioned, we give them out. Then for the substance abuse, we got a lot. We have the Red Rose Petal Ceremony that's at Court Creek Park. Anybody who has lost somebody wants that person remembered. It's a huge event, and it's also sad at the same time. What we do is we read off names for each rose petal, and we kind of throw it in the lake. So, and somebody shares their story. So each year I do a different family that was affected, and then people come. So it's kind of that event's sad. And also I got the Love for an Addict, which is more of a celebration of those in recovery, while we're still remembering those that struggle. That happens 3 times a year at this organization called PROAC in Bristol. I'll give you more details about that another time. Cancer, we do the Cookout for Cancer. That we haven't done that in a year, but that Cookout for Cancer was a success. We raised money for Peak State Cancer Fund, which is a huge organization. So we try to raise money for, to give back out in the community. So we have the MAD, Men Against Domestic Violence basketball, 3-on-3 basketball tournament that raises money for a women's place in Doylestown. So each part we have something to raise money for some type of charity, things like that. What am I missing? Cancer, substance abuse, domestic violence. Yeah, so we do a lot. Then again, the mentoring. So that's what it's more about. So for me, it's more about going out, having a simple conversation, and that's what you are. You're a mentor in a sense.
Yeah.
You go out there, you talk to somebody who you know nothing about. You know what I mean? And then they share you their story, and then it could be rewarding both ways. Because for you could be going through something, and you're like, I'm going through this. Like for me to finally take No More Pain and start doing something, was 10 years ago. And I was down Center City. I was going through a bad breakup with somebody I was with 10 years or something. And I found myself down at Washington Park down in Center City, 7th and Walnut. And I was sitting on a bench, and across from me was a homeless guy sitting on that bench. I'm over here crying over a breakup. And then this guy comes over to me and sits down next to me and starts talking to me about it. This homeless guy. After I got done telling him my story, I was like, well, what brings you out here? He told me his story. And then what catch me from his story was he told me that how every night he waits till restaurants close in Chinatown and waits for them to throw out their food so he could eat. And you sit there and I'm thinking like, hey, I'm crying over some girl who obviously has nothing to do with me. And this guy is telling me how he eats out of dumpsters.
Yeah.
So kind of like,
wake up call kind of
wake up call. And it was that guy. I wrote a poem called the Guy on the Bench, and it was about this guy. And it was actually that guy who gave me that thing. I was thanking him for talking. Oh man, thank you for talking to me. Simple conversation goes a long way. Remember that. So that's why I said I got that from that guy. So, that's July 2008, and that's when I really started just coming out personally. Like I would do this. I've been doing this 10 years. I'd go out 3-4 nights a week or whenever I had time. Just go out there and just talk to people. I play chess with people. Just getting stories. Mostly 95% of the poems I write are real life stories. And I got like 4,000 poems. So
yeah,
I have some real life stories to tell you, either whether they're mine or somebody I met. And I've done this up to 4 years ago when I started No More Pain. And me bringing No More Pain out was my cousin saying, hey, you should talk about this on Facebook and get people to go out with you. I'm like, nah, this is personal. This is my thing. And I was trying to keep it my thing. Oh, no, I'm glad you'll get support. You'll get support. And then I went on Facebook with it. And then I went and got it registered as a nonprofit. So we've been established as a nonprofit since 2014, even though it's been a vision of mine since 96.
Yeah.
So most of it was personal, my own thing. Every Thanksgiving I give up my dinner plate. I've been doing that for 10 years. Give up my dinner plate. I mean, I come back and eat with the family, but I give up my first plate that I would sit down with. I take it to somebody who needs it. Again, like I was telling you, like not perfect. Like I hate when somebody calls me an angel. Like people comment on my post, you're an angel, you're a saint. No, I'm not. I'm just like you, but I just care. I mean? I care more about the things that's going on. You know what I mean? Because I'm not a saint or something. I told somebody I was talking to a group of people a couple weeks ago, and kind of similar questions, and I was told a lady, I was like, I don't care if I mess up tomorrow and I'm back in prison behind doing another 5 years. For myself, I'm gonna speak out about these things that matter. You know what I mean? I'm not perfect, but these things do matter to me. I can't walk down the street. I used to be able to walk down the street, walk right past a homeless person. They're gonna take my money. They're gonna get high. They're gonna buy drugs. But now I can't walk past that person. Like when I drive down the city to go do pizzas, I have a certain areas I go, and it's hard for me to drive past people to go feed people.
Yeah. Well, I imagine.
I want to stop at every corner here. I mean, I can't, but that's the that's the mentality on it. So the whole experience all is humbling to me.
Yeah.
So if it can humble me, then I know it can humble anybody. So if that answers your question, I think I went off with that question.
Yeah, that's all right. What advice? This is more of a active user question, but what advice do you have for family members of addicts who want to help their loved one?
First of all, never give up. You have to understand that it's not it's not that person. It's the addiction. It's the disease. It's the drug. Not saying that that person or the addict doesn't have to have accountability, because they do.
Yeah.
They have to have accountability. I hear families that people been out of rehab 4 or 5 times. Oh, my son's been in rehab 10 times. That's 10 times too many.
Yeah.
Again, that I'm gonna get into that. Like, talk so much about the rehab systems. later on. But my advice is to never give up. Stay on top of it. You don't have to police when it comes to kids or your love. Don't police them because to me that's gonna somebody's gonna rebel. We do more enabling than we do than we don't. You know what I mean? When it comes to our loved ones in addiction. Um, it was funny that that's the question because do you know how many people I've met? I can't even count how many who've told me we're totally against what I do. You know, that's on them. They're destroying this country, destroying our communities, this, that. To later on, those same people coming back and say, yo, Mars, my son or my daughter, my loved one's battling this. You know, and I'm not the type of person like, oh, I told you so.
Yeah.
It's more like, okay, well, how can I help you? You know what I mean? Because it's going to affect every household soon. And I'd rather affect every household soon by education, by being aware, than it be because somebody in that family had OD'd. You know what I mean? So we can educate. Like at first, they didn't really want to talk about it in the schools. Now they are. I'm all for it talking to schools because it should be brought up at home. You should be talking to your kids about it, whether it's in your house or not. You know, so if everybody's more educated about it, when your kids or your loved ones are tempted by it, they're already educated about it. You know what I mean? Then it doesn't become then that really becomes a choice. If you know, you know what I mean, something's wrong. Like if you didn't know, oh, I know I'm gonna get addicted. That's different.
Yeah.
But if you knew that you could get addicted to something, then that's a choice. So I go, and you'll see when we talk about things, I look at things at both. People think I'm one way with things. And no, I do look at it on both sides of the fence. Accountability, yes, you gotta have accountability. But while we're waiting for people to have accountability, we're not supposed to care.
Yeah.
We're just like people sit there, all right, until he's ready, I'm just gonna let him suffer and let him,
Yeah.
Figure it out. No, and until whoever understands that, I'm gonna go off for a moment. So to understand it, this is how you're gonna get me. To understand it, you got to look at, the heroin epidemic has been around longer than us in this room have been here.
Yeah.
The crack epidemic hasn't gone nowhere. The meth epidemic hasn't gone nowhere. Opiate epidemic hasn't gone nowhere. That's what we're facing now, right? So all this stuff's been around. You go to South Philly, and it's a crack epidemic. It's a prostitution epidemic. Right in our own backyards in Bristol, Marsville, Levittown, and all that. It's a meth epidemic. It's a crack epidemic still out here. So if you for me to look at it and been doing this for so long, it's about money. You know what I mean? When you the answer for crack at the time was lock the crackhead up, lock the crack dealer up. My age growing up, that was the thing. You lock them up, you lock them up, you lock them up.
Yeah.
You don't offer people help, you lock them up. You know what I mean? The heroin epidemic. We used to use heroin, my uncle said, in Vietnam for pain. So so it's not something that's coming from Mexico, things like that. It's it's something that's been here.
Didn't know that. That's crazy.
Right? Yeah. So it's actually something that's been here. So, but now it's a price on it. So what I'm trying to say is like the rehabs, insurance companies, when the opiates came out, it was the doctors and the pharmaceutical companies. Everybody's making money off of it, down to the recovery houses. And I don't take nothing away. Like when I speak, I got a lot of friends that run recovery houses and do all these things, and they know my opinions as well.
Yeah.
I'm not knocking people who run recovery house, but run your recovery house for recovery, not to make money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or when a mom or somebody says my son or daughter, whoever been in rehab 10 times, and how much it is to go to rehab? So somebody's getting money. You know what I mean? Narcan when Narcan first came, it was free. Now go try to buy Narcan. So it's starting to become money. And that's where, you get me to like go off. Because I can't see how we want to make money off of people's pain. People, are in pain or suffering, whether no matter what reason they're on drugs, alcoholism. Alcoholism then hasn't gone nowhere. You know what I mean? People are suffering from something. Mental health. Not once have I heard any of our upper or higher powers to be talk about or include mental health in all this. You think somebody can sit underneath a bridge high on dope, they're mentally stable?
No.
No. So we don't talk about mental health enough.
Yeah.
So we got to add mental health in that with all the homelessness. You think it's mentally right that somebody's homeless? Do you think they're like in their mental state that they're literally living? I don't know. I made a video of me driving around Kensington. I went through the 10th city, and somebody literally had a couch, a dresser in this little square area. So people make this their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So imagine that lifestyle being out here in Langhorne, Pendle, and Levittown, Yardley. So,
Yeah, that's insane.
it's
That's
insane.
seriously crazy how people just live out on the street like that in places.
And but again, it's the addiction, accountability. But it's the addiction, man. It's bad, and people are gonna die. So I think your question was the advice to the families, right?
Yes.
So, just again, the parents should be educated, the kids should be educated. My daughter's 2 years old. She has no clue of what's going on. But as soon as she can able to understand the words that come out of my mouth, I'm gonna educate my daughter about this.
Yeah.
Her mom thinks it's the wrong thing to do. No, it's not the wrong thing to do. Because it's gonna be around by the time she's old enough to learn it in the street or learn it from somewhere else. This epidemic is not gonna go nowhere.
Yeah.
It's still climbing. People are still becoming addicted. You got new addicts, you know what I mean? And you got people that are coming out of rehab and relapsing. So again, when it comes to No More Pain, our mentorship program tries to assist those people coming out of rehabs to keep them clean. I believe that it takes 2 years for you of sobriety to really think that you got it and you have a grip on. That's what we do. We try to mentor people coming out of treatment centers. So, but our mentorship program got to get more funded and more, people behind it.
Yeah.
Before that can really go. I piloted it and do it myself, but I can't really get mentees or mentors until I'm more established as an organization.
Yeah. This one I'm sure you have very strong feelings about. All of the new safe injection sites.
Safe injection sites. I did my research. I'm on the fence. I definitely think they're the wrong thing to do. Again, like you put a safe injection site, say, in the middle of Kensington. Okay, so now you got everybody, say in that area going to this one area.
Yeah.
To shoot up, so people can watch them. Number one, I don't think you have enough room for the hundreds and hundreds of people. So you can have hundreds of people in there shooting at one time. There's hundreds of people down there. You know what I mean? So I'm against it on that site too. I think it's more enabling because again, it still takes that person to say, "Hey, I need help." We can't go out there and 302 somebody, or I call it 303 them. Can't 303 somebody and force them into treatment. If we could, oh man, it ended the epidemic tomorrow.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Epidemic tomorrow if we force people into treatment.
Yeah.
But obviously can't do that in our country. So this is what we deal with. But until somebody says, "Hey, I want help," you're gonna go give them a place to do this. I get what people say. I understand. They're there. They're in a safe spot. When they want help, the help's ready, available. Okay, but what if somebody does not want? But what if somebody in there dies? Yeah, they have Narcan, but Narcan's not guaranteed to work.
Yeah.
So somebody dies. What if more than one person dies? What if 5 people die that night? What if there's a bad batch that night going around the city and like 2 weeks ago, 81 people died or OD didn't die, OD'd in the city, all because there was a bad batch going around. So now if there's a bad batch going around, you got all these people in your safe injection site. What's going to happen? And who's going to pay for it? Taxpayers. That's another thing. We're going to pay for it. They're going to raise the soda prices again or something. So it's all about making money. And to me, it's a money making thing.
Oh, yeah.
No matter how people look at it, they have to employ somebody in there, the doctors, nurses, whoever's in there, they gotta get employed. So it's
You're
a
not
money making
volunteering.
thing. So unless it's volunteer, I don't know what it is, but it's still a money making thing.
Yeah.
They're
Well,
gonna make money off of people's pain. And if somebody doesn't want help, they're just gonna keep going there, going there, and going there. It's not. They think it's gonna clean up the streets. Put it this way: 75% of the people that I talk to are not gonna use those sites because they think most of them either got criminal records. They think they're gonna get monitored. They're gonna get tracked. They're gonna get so they're not even gonna use them. There's organizations that drive around and give out clean needles. So is it gonna really clean up the city of needles? No. I was in an abandoned building that the floor looked like it was all needles. So people are not just gonna leave, where they're at, just go to a safe injection site. Now some will, and hey, some might go in there and want help, and God bless it. So that's why I'm on the fence, because people might go in there and be able to, hey, I want help. I just don't think it's right for our city. And other countries, it works great because they have free healthcare. So when somebody says I want help, they can go right in
yeah,
the
they
treatment.
got it. Yeah.
We don't have free healthcare, so regardless if somebody says I want help or not, they're gonna. You have insurance?
No.
No. All right, you gotta go get. Then you gotta go over here, get government insurance. Then you gotta go here, get an assessment. By the time I had a lady call me the other day about a friend of hers, and by the time she could get an assessment, all that, the girl went back on the street. She couldn't wait no longer. That's how long it takes to try to really get somebody in a program. The addicts are like, I can't wait. Or you got to go buy me drugs so I can stay high until I go into treatment. That's the mentality right now. So
That's crazy. Another one was, how do you feel about doctors not fully, I don't want to say analyzing people before prescribing them meds that could get them addicted?
Money is the same thing as the money thing.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. I went for a tooth, to pull out a tooth, right?
Yeah.
Say 6 years ago. They gave me 130 perks. Right? 130 perks. My tooth pain was gone in 2 days. I think I'd take one every 2 hours, whatever it was. I think I took 4 or 5 at the whole time. So I had 120 something pills left over. Now me, of course, I get rid of them. But imagine somebody else.
Yeah.
Or the rest of those pills get left in your medicine cabinet. And then your curious kid finds them. Or somebody who has a problem is in there, it finds them. You know what I mean? I exposed mine, but not everybody does that. But 130 for
That's
a
too
tooth that you pulled a tooth. You know what I mean? So I talk about the pharmaceutical companies and the doctors. They should have accept responsibility, which they have. There's plenty of lawsuits out on certain pharmaceutical companies over this stuff.
Yeah.
But when I say they need to give back, I mean when I talk about them, it's more like you need to be out here. You know what I mean? Like you need to be out here seeing this stuff for yourself. You know what I mean? Now, the average person out who they're using, they say is a white male of 32.
Yeah.
That's the average they say that uses heroin, that's dying and all that. But it's everybody. I don't average my ass. It's everybody. It's young, old, black, white. I don't care what religion you are, what job you have. I've met doctors, lawyers, a preacher, a dude who used to be a mayor before in some town in Jersey. All homeless, all addicts. This is what they used to be, teachers. So it affects everybody, man. You know what I'm saying? So to end it, to end this epidemic, my true belief is that you need some type of system to where I can say I want my child or my loved one put in treatment. You know what I mean? It's almost like a 302. You can 302 someone if they're crazy. All right, well, and that's mental health, right?
Yeah.
So if I believe that mental health is driving this epidemic, I should be able to 302 somebody.
Yeah.
He's a danger to themselves. Everybody, if you go through the woods, the homes in Bucks County or Kenston, that's what it is, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're killing themselves. They're a harm to themselves. So they talk about harm. Safe injection sites more about harm reduction. That's what they fall under. The harm reduction to me is saying, hey, I feel like this person's gonna harm themselves. They're getting high. They have kids. They have so on, so on, so on, and they should be forced into treatment. But you know, that's my wish.
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. I would, just tell people, just always stay involved. Don't be naive. Don't think it can't happen to your family. Don't think your family's perfect. Don't think your family knows, oh, y'all got this. You know what I mean? Because it could take somebody, you play sports, right?
Yeah.
So you got hurt. You broke your arm. Doctor gave you pills to get through your back pain. Next thing you know, you still think you have the pain. And now you're trying to find something else to take the pain away. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I've had surgery and stuff like that before, and I've been put on stuff like that. And that, like, a feeling like that is obviously very easy to want again, you know?
You don't want that pain anymore.
Yeah.
So it becomes from not wanting pain anymore to an addiction. And then the pain that you start to cause yourself, the stealing, whatever you got to do to get that high. That's the pain, And women, I met women, young girls that just, you could tell by looking at them that at one time they were beautiful.
Yeah.
And now they just look really, really bad, and or they're prostituting. Like, prostitution's big in Kensington, prostitution's big in South Philly. Prostitution has been around forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But these people are doing it. They're doing it for drugs. They're doing it to get high. And just, I have a daughter, and I have sisters. I grew up with 4 sisters and a brother. So you see these things, for me, I can't help but think, if before I had my daughter, I would see like my nieces, or I raised three kids in a previous relationship. So Ashley is my other daughter. So I would see her face, or my mom, or things like that. And looking at these people out there, and it's just like it breaks me down every time.
Yeah.
Every time. I'm not tough Morris when it comes to riding through Kensington, because it's tough seeing it. Now, mind you, I've been in Kensington and I've been threatened by drug dealers, at first. Now, nobody messes with me. Threatened by drug dealers. Not because I'm nobody, just because they just... One drug dealer told me, man, one guy you say, 4 more are coming. And that's the reality of it. So, I used to be threatened by drugs, messed with by the police down there, all trying to make a difference, And, the city is coming this way. So coming north. So everything is like starting to trail up here. So before, it used to be, you see it in Kensington. Now you're seeing it more in, say, Northeast Philly, and trickling to Ben Salem. But what people fail to realize up in Bucks County is that only 20% of the people in Kensington are from Kensington. Everybody else is from the surrounding counties. So when we say it's a Kensington thing, no. It's a Bucks County thing, Montgomery County thing, whatever other counties around Philadelphia that go down there to buy the drugs.
Yeah.
So they know up here you can't, it's rare that you'll see a homeless person or somebody else. Not rare, because I see them every night. But you don't see that many.
Yeah.
Up here in Bucks County. Down there is a little different story, man. You can't turn a corner without running into it. So, and those people are from up here. Where you from? Levittown, where you from? Newtown, where you from? Langhorne, where you from? Montgomery County, where you from? Delaware County, where you from? Camden, where you from? And then you go to Camden, same thing. You go to Trenton, same thing. So everything that surrounds these counties have this epidemic that's in the face of everybody.
Yeah.
And then you have our counties that, like I said before in the beginning, it's more out of sight, out of mind type of thing. And that's what people up here, it's always been that way.
Yeah.
Like, even when I was growing up, oh, stay out of Philly. Stay out of Philly. What you mean, Mom? It's happening right here. I don't buy my meth. I used to do meth when I was growing up. I don't buy my meth in Philly. I bought mine in Levittown. Or I didn't buy my coke in Philly. I bought my coke in Ben Salem. I never did crack, but they don't sell crack. If I did crack, if I wanted, I'd go to Bloomsdale. Those were the spots in Bloomsdale. Used to be not worse than, it used to look kind of like a Kensington type of environment when I was growing up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Bloomsdale used to be really bad with the crack and the heroin. My mom's first husband, Bob, when I was a kid, it's the first time I ever saw somebody do heroin. I was smoking weed in his car out back. I knew he smoked weed, so I didn't care. So he got in the car, and I thought he was going to smoke the weed with me. And this guy's pulling out dope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I got out of the car, and I went, I was like, well, that's a little weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I've seen it. My mom's first husband, It's just crazy. There's a lot of friends I went to high school with that are now battling this addiction. There's a few that lost their lives to it that I went to high school with. You know what I mean? And some of it doesn't just start with pills. Some of it's straight hair. There's been people who've done heroin one time and died. So, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man. It's just, I don't know. So what's the next question? I'll go off. So
this next one's actually kind of interesting. It's not, because obviously we could talk about heroin and like crack, stuff like that.
Right.
That'll kill you, you know? How do you feel about marijuana?
Put it this way. If you're a kid, I truly think that, you should stay away from it. I truly think it could be a gateway.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of on the fence about it, about marijuana use. Do I think the medical marijuana is good for people who may need it? Yeah. Do I think recreational marijuana is good? I could say yeah, and I could say nay. Depends, because if you're legalizing it, you know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm kind of on the fence with that, to be honest with you. But I would definitely try to I'm gonna keep my daughter away from it.
Yeah.
Definitely keep your kids away from it. But I just saw a study or something that was on TV that more kids today are not doing it than they were, say, when I was growing up. So I'm thinking it's either because there's harder drugs out there or whatever that the kids want to mess with. But definitely, I would say that that's tricky. I don't know why you gave me that question, but but definitely, if keep your kids, away from it. They got the new pen things now and all that, so it's more disguise. I went to this event where they did a mock bedroom and can show you where kids hide things. So for kids, yes, I think that you should be more responsible in your life as an adult if you're going to experience that. I don't want to sound like I'm a hypocrite, you know what I mean? But there are some people who use it for medical purposes.
Yeah.
If it works, it works. You know what I mean? But for recreational, I just think that you should avoid it.
So you are probably more against it being totally legalized throughout the entire country.
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go.
No. I'm gonna try to it's real talk. You know what I mean? I just think it's, people. I deal with a lot of people in the substance abuse field, so everybody have their own opinion. For me personally, I think you should, deter your kids from it. You know what I mean? Do people use for medical marijuana for recreation use? Yes, they always happen. A lot of people that make these laws, are using marijuana. Obviously, I don't think it would become legal like it is if the powers that be weren't either making money off of it or using it themselves. But for parents and their kids, that's something totally I'm against any kid using any type of drug. It is a gateway. When I was a kid, I smoked weed, and we kind of led to other things. At the same time, cigarettes lead to more things, and no smoking cigarettes neither. Cigarettes. I started smoking cigarettes, and I started smoking cigarettes before I started smoking weed, and it's the same thing with the cigarettes. That's how it started off with the weed, because it was about the motion of smoking a cigarette. Yeah. For me, try this. You smoke this cigarette, it makes you funnier, So you know what I'm saying. So that's the problem that kids would face even today, probably. Either you don't smoke nothing actually. Whether it's a cigarette, it's going to lead into the weed, or the weed's going to lead into more. So I'm totally against it when it comes to our kids, and I have to be in a sense because I have my own daughter. You know what I mean? So I'm more against it because when she's growing up, I don't want her getting high.
Yeah.
Oh, I ain't doing heroin. I'm just smoking weed. Nah. You know what I mean? Now, if you're, and I'll just leave it at that.
That's it.
That's a good question, though.
And that's all I had there.
Wow, that's all the questions.
Yes.
It was a great ending question. I'm gonna laugh about that around. I'm like, what? Because I get that I get asked that question all the time, actually. And
Yeah,
it's,
'cause,
it's hard to, I'll say a lot. I'm on the fence with something. That means I'm for it. I'm against it. But who knows?
Yeah, because like you're obviously somebody who deals with people who do a lot of harder, worse stuff, and I feel like it's just interesting for people to know how you feel about things that aren't.
Right. I never had
as
somebody
bad as
come to me
that.
and say that they were addicted to weed and they needed help getting off weed.
Yeah.
That's all I say. I never had no. There's have been cases, but I've never heard somebody going to rehab for weed. But again, it's a mind altering drug. It does change your mind, your way of thinking. I've gotten in trouble, for it myself. You know what I'm saying? So, definitely to stay away from it, especially as a kid, and just and us parents need to be more vigilant and more aware of what's going on. Whether I know parents who say I'd rather my kids smoke weed than do anything. Those type of comments I'm against. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you
should be against
nothing.
Everything. Wait till they're adults to make their own decision anyway when it comes to that. But to say I'd rather my son or daughter smoke weed than heroin or pills to me is then. So if I'm a kid, my dad and mom says, "No, you can smoke weed, just don't do the heroin." All right, there's a lot of drugs between weed and heroin. So you're telling me not to just do heroin, all right, well, I could bust out a line, I can't do heroin, or I can smoke some crack, it's not heroin. So how we talk to our kids is important, making sure that we're, my daughter don't understand the word I'm saying to her, but I know I'm always saying, no heroin, you know what I mean? I'm always telling her things, so she hopefully stinks in her head. But again, even that, I know families who kids, A students, not a problem their whole life, who are now fucked up.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter how you raise your kid. You know what I mean? It's society, man. It's what's new. This is where our kids get messed up. It's what's new. It's what's out there. Molly's, the ecstasies, those perks, Xannies, all those pills, man, and those are the ones that are leading more people into heroin, the opiates, but it's basically the same. You're just heroin's cheaper.
Yeah.
You still got that nodding off look, that dopey look doing all these opiates. I was dealing with somebody who tried to convince me that they didn't have a perk problem and needed Xannies to not have that problem. So this is how naive I was. So I'd go supply the person with the Xannies, thinking I'm saving her life. In all actuality, I'm feeding her addiction.
Yeah.
They manipulate you. So, there's so much to look for when it comes to dealing with this addiction that's why I think it's hard for families to really know if their loved one, not even just a kid, I don't want to keep saying kid, their loved one is high. You know what I mean? Or whatever. You can disguise being high from almost any drug except for heroin when you're nodding off.
Yeah.
So, but again, like when he talks about heroin addiction, the numbers are climbing. People are dying every single day. Probably 4 people have died so far in our interview.
Do you think heroin is probably I don't want to say worst, but do you think that is the
Worst
worst?
drug out there.
Yeah.
But it's no different than the
Yeah.
crack epidemic. I don't want to say there's not. They've been finding carfentanil and fentanyl. That's the drug that's really killing people in the heroin. They find that, you know, in cocaine now. They finding that, and they said traces of it in weed sometimes. You know, so it's what people are adding to these drugs that are like, again, because heroin been around forever. You know what I mean? You can see a heroin addict for 10 years before he passed from heroin. I mean, now it's, I mean, people
like
are not making it, man.
upgraded. Yeah.
Like when I go to Philly or from up here, you know, it's almost like I'll see faces that are familiar to me, but then all of a sudden they're no longer there, and you're like, did they die or did they get help? You know, you just never know doing what I do.
Yeah.
Like unless somebody is mentored by me, I know one thing: in 10 years, over 100 people that I've met have died from the heroin addiction. I know that person. Now imagine the ones that I've met but didn't know, and didn't stay. You know what I mean? Didn't ask, or hey, whatever happened to this person? Oh, they died last week in an overdose. And you think about, like, I had a conversation with that person. Like, I was in Philly where I was in a band house having a conversation with everybody, and I was talking to somebody over here, right? By the time I got to the person over here, this person was ODing, and I just had a conversation with that person. They didn't die. I had Narcan. People I was with had Narcan, but I just spoke to.
Yeah.
I had 4 or 5 people die in my arms before Narcan came out. There's nothing you can do. You know what I'm saying? So this, for me, is deeper than anybody could ever imagine. Now, I'm not the only person that does this.
Yeah.
Other organizations does this. But, like, when I'm out there, I'm out there. Like, I'll try to talk. Only people I don't talk to is somebody who's not enough. Obviously, I can't have a conversation with you. But before and after that period, there I am. And I never once have tried to, like, force anything with somebody else. Get any treatment. When I'm out, I don't do that. Oh, you gotta go treatment. You want treatment? Obviously they want. Hey, you know what I mean? It's more about, hey, I can't change your situation, but I'll make it as comfortable as possible. Hey, what do you need? You know. And some people just want to talk. Some people just want to tell you. I hear more about somebody's pain, you know, than I hear about somebody's success down there or up here. You know. So for me to take all that in, I have people all the time, man. How are you? Well, you know, how do you release it? You know, I either write poems or whatever. That's how I take all the information I'm getting every night and try to do something with it, because shit I've been through could probably drive a sane person crazy.
Yeah.
You know, being in these abandoned houses. You know, a bathroom is a toilet. A bathroom is a big tub that everybody pisses and shits in. You know what I mean? It's needles all over the floor from the bedroom to the front door of the place. People prostituting right there. You know what I mean? Getting high over here. You know, smoking crack over there. That's what I see at least 2 times a week going, whether it be in the city or in the woods up in the county. This is what I say. In the woods, you see it. You know, feces all around. Nobody cares. You know, needles all around. And it's real. It's like, for me, it's a reality check plus humbling.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It's humbling in the sense that, you know, like, I got no problem going on in my life. I'm not here. You know what I mean? But it's scary because, again, like, I could be Morris, Derry, the No More Pain guy today, right? Tomorrow I could be Morris, Derry, the heroin addict who lost it all tomorrow. That's how quick this happens. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We could be doing this show today and you interview me, and then tomorrow I heard that you know, it's affecting you somehow. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it's like. You try it one time, it's not. You don't really try heroin one time. You know what I mean? Once you hooked, it's that devil, man. It's that it's that devil. And like I was saying about being, I did that overnight. That's some scary shit. You know. I'm 44, nice sized guy, and I was scared, sitting there like, and it really felt like hell. I had a towel. I was sweating. I'm sitting there. It was the first time I ever. I mean, I go and I've been in this abandoned house hundreds of times, but the first I'm staying here overnight. You know what I mean? I got a knife in my back pocket, for protection. You know what I mean? It's like, but it was scary in the sense of like when I said I had to smoke a cigarette, I'm not gonna smoke in here. You know what I mean? So I go walking outside and it's really walking past all these people look like zombies, look like Night of the Living Dead, except for they were standing still. And and most of them got the face scars, skin peeling off. What they really do look like that.
Yeah.
And no disrespect to the addict suffering, but that's what you look like. And seeing that in a house, I really thought like I was walking through, say, a haunted house. You know what I mean? Trying to find with my iPhone flashlight, trying to find, and that's what it looked like. I'm with my iPhone flashlight and say, "There's a guy just standing here," and it's like it's dark as shit, but all you see is like, this guy standing there. I'm walking by. It's scary. I don't like doing live in Kensington when I'm in the house because I don't want to see somebody shooting up on a video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know who would want to do that.
But and then I go down there and I have a portfolio book that has, I should have brought it so you guys can see it. Actually I can't, it's confidentiality. But I have a book that has pictures in it. So family members sent me pictures, look for their kid. You know what I mean? In there I had to write deceased under. Or I had to write like, there's been people who I met, yo, your mom or whoever's looking for you, I don't want to know where I'm at. Did you see my son and daughter? I have to say no. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they don't want to, they don't want to be found. And then in my picture book I write, don't want contact. So they don't want contact with their loved one. Now, if they're a kid underage, I'm gonna reach out to their parents. I'm talking about people, like people who can make their own decisions and what they want to do with their lives. I can't go back to their parents or their loved one and be like, yeah, I saw your brother. I just can't, because I feel like I'm breaking that person's trust when I'm out there. You know what I'm saying? So it's different for me and a lot of organizations. Like a lot of organizations, that's their goal, is to reunite people. That's my goal too. I've reunited plenty of people from Kensington with their family. But my loyalty and my confidentiality is both ways when it comes to that. You know what I mean? And I tell moms and people, look, if I find them, they don't want to do it, then I'm telling you that. Or I'm telling you I haven't seen them. All right, no problem. You know what I mean? Because some people don't want to be found. Some people, that's it. I don't know if anybody's really been down to Lehigh and Emerald Lehigh. And I suggest, you, your family, take a ride by down there. And you'll see, man. You'll see. You'll see it in people's face. Rehab.
And like what people, if they were going to go, what they'd expect.
If you're going to go to rehab, what do you expect? All right, so if you're going to rehab, what you expect is, when I went to I always like to say when I do something. So I'm speaking from, my experience. When I went to rehab, it was more about educating myself on every other drug. So not only did I went to rehab for cocaine and meth. I was already at a different facility for something I'd done. I was getting ready to come home. Before I go home, I need to address some issues.
Yeah.
Went to rehab. But when I was there, I just educated. That's how I know about the Xannies, the perks, the heroin, the coke.
Yeah.
That's how I learned early age. And I was only 14, 15, 16, around that age when I went. So, and But when you go to rehab, for me at the time, it was more of like that's your withdrawal. That's you're coming down. It's your kickstart to sobriety. That's how I look at it. You know, I was there 28 days. It was 28 days, 30 days, 2 months, 6 months. Some programs are 2 years. That's your kickstart to help you on your road to recovery. So it's not really rehab. Rehab's good. Go to rehab. I encourage rehab. It's after you walk out of rehab. After you walk out of rehab, you're not sanctioned by, say, courts or your probation or something. Somebody told you how to go to the rehab. You are left out there on your own. So think of somebody who's fighting, an addiction like crack or heroin, right? Took you forever to say, oh, I want that help. Then you go to rehab 28 days, and you walk out the door, and it's like,
now what?
Now what?
Yeah.
Now, there are some programs out there, but it's not mandatory. You know what I'm saying? It's not mandatory. Or you get a sponsor, but your sponsor, your sponsor could relapse. You know what I mean? So it's kind of tough for you to come out of rehab because you really don't have no place to go.
Yeah.
You got to find your own meetings. You got to find your own outpatient. Most outpatients want insurance, so it's tough. So that's why I said when it comes to mentoring, you have something. Like, you have something that you can, like, people that are going to help you and support you for that first 2 years. Like I said, you need clean to really grab it and take that concept in. You know what I mean? So that's my insight about rehabs. Plus, besides the money-making end of it, but we'll discuss that in a later show.
Awesome. Yeah, speaking of that, what are some things we can expect for later shows?
All right, so in later shows, this one I'm going to be all hype. So later shows.
That's what we're doing. Here we go.
Right. We're definitely going to interview some people that are doing good things in the communities. We're going to talk real talk. So I'm going to talk about the Narcans. I'm going to talk about the safe injection sites. I'm going to talk about things that you should know, what to look for at home. So kind of things that we talked to today, but in a bigger, wider, view of them. Again, like, these are just my opinions. You know what I mean? It's how I see things. There's a lot of people who disagree with what I say, or the way I go about things, which is okay, but I'm still going to talk about it. I still do things my way. And we're going to talk about those things. We're going to talk about the stigmas that you got out there about addiction. Hopefully get some success stories. If I can't get success stories in here, I'll tell you some success stories. There's a lot of success stories. So everything I do is not always, I show people, the one side of it, but there's I've seen a lot of success stories. So you can recover, you can bounce over. So future shows will have that. But again, it's going to be more in-depth talking. Hopefully people will, want questions answered and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep posting it. Make sure that if people have questions that they want me to talk about, or things they want me to talk about, please let me know. I have a No More Pain page on Facebook. You can follow us there. We do a lot of talking there. I post a lot. If you see something that we can talk about, let me know. I definitely want to talk to moms and dads and people people in recovery. I think that'd be a great show. Hearing a mom who's been through it, or hearing a dad who's been through it. So some of these shows are gonna be real. Real.
Yeah.
Some of them I'm gonna try to make funny, because we celebrate recovery too. So everything's not gonna be, the dark side of this.
It's all bad.
Yeah. So we do celebrate those in recovery, and we'll talk about that, how we can celebrate those in recovery, how you can encourage somebody to get help, where you can get help at, things like that. So, but the next show, I think we're going to talk about more in depth the safe injection sites. Okay. I think it'll be a good thing to start off with the safe injection sites and things like that. So,
and that'll just be you, right?
That'll be just me.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm just here to interview. I'm producing all this.
You're the producer.
Yeah.
Jack Tierney.
There you go. You got it.
Tierney, you know what? You know what I mean? So yeah, so thank you though, man. I appreciate
No
it.
problem.
Thank you. The questions are great. I'm looking forward to the next show. So, all right. So I'm gonna get you my information. My phone number is 215-416-5248. If you know somebody that needs help, somebody wants to be involved in our mentorship program, you want to volunteer, you can reach me at my phone number, or you email me at NoMorePain inc215 at gmail.com. We're on Facebook under Morris Derry, and I'm on Instagram under Morris_Derry. Our website is down right now, but once our website's up, I'll get people that information. Again, I want to thank Jack Tierney.
Yep. No
I
problem.
want to thank Cypress. What's the name of the band again?
Cypress Avenue.
Cypress Avenue. They're going to be our music in our background. He's going to add some Tupac in there, hopefully.
Oof.
But no, so stay tuned. We got some great stuff coming up. I look forward to talking to everybody. And again,